Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, the 29th of September, and it's another beautiful, sunny, warm day that feels like summertime here in Michigan. We had a beautiful, warm, summer-like weekend. Lions won. Sorry, Cleveland. And all is good. Judge Pattison is off this week, and so I'll be handling his matters. And so I've got misdemeanor arraignments today, but we only have one. We had a walk-in. He keeps sending us pictures just to make us feel bad, but we'll be a little bit double booked this week. I don't know if the magistrate is here today or not, so we may have a few things. We have one customer who's already resolved, and we have another walk-in who they're preparing their paperwork right now, so that may take a minute. Went to a very nice wedding over the weekend. Yeah, it was very nice, and it was all good. So our little bit of shared humanity this morning. Ms. Jackson's a big music lover, so she knows all these opening lines, but today's opening line isn't exactly the opening line, but maybe the second line for a little shared humanity. Maybe you'll listen to this later if you know it. If you don't, you were the sweetest thing that I ever knew, but I don't care for sugar, honey, if I can't have you. Let's see if you know that. So far, no Black Sabbath. Good morning, Australia and California. Thank you all for getting up early or late. Our first matter is Mr. Eric Demas, who is charged with no insurance. The file number in that matter is 251886SM. Mr. Demas has apparently provided proof that he now has insurance. The prosecutors agreed to reduce this to no proof of insurance.
Yes, Your Honor, that would be Gary Gabriel.
All right, very good. Mr. Demas, why don't you come up to the podium for a minute? Thanks. This is file 251886SM, People versus Eric Scott Demas II. Mr. Demas, you've apparently brought in proof that you have insurance. Prosecutors willing to dismiss the charge of no insurance to a civil infraction of no proof of insurance. That carries a fine of $150. It's not a criminal matter. It is a civil matter like a stop sign or speeding. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So do you acknowledge that on September 11th of 2025, you were driving a car without having proof of insurance in it?
Yes.
All right. The fine and cost is $150. Can you pay that today, or do you need time to pay it?
I can pay that today.
All right. All right, I'm gonna have the bailiff take you out to the court office. You can pay that $150 fine. The matter is resolved.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you for being here on time, too. All right, as I understand it, we have one more customer. I let that run because it was quite brief. I'll turn this off in a minute. Yes, more terrible things over the weekend, particularly here in Michigan. If you want to not turn the news on, each day is more shock to our system. So I spend a little minute trying to set all that aside. Reminding you of a song I like. All right, I guess I'll just wait here a moment. I'm not even sure what our new guy was charged with. I don't know anything about bench warrant arraignments or failure to appears or anything. Normally, the morning would be filled with civil pretrials, our Monday morning. The clerk set a couple, but she didn't set them until 10. She thought maybe we have more to do this morning. No pretrials and only one very simple arraignment, one walk-in. So we'll have a couple of civil pretrials, one at 10 and one at 10:15. And then we will begin with a number of kind of tough sentences at 10:30. So I think we have 5 sentences between 10:30 and noon. So, yes, I would also just touch on the fact that our courthouse was shut down on Friday because there wasn't much of a lockdown. It was such a lockdown that nobody even noticed it. We all just kept doing our job, but the person who had made the threats to the courthouse was arrested Friday morning and lodged. He's in our jail right now and charged with making terroristic threats. It's likely that we will all disqualify ourselves, as the threats were at us, particularly me and the other people at the courthouse. So I think we'll be asking a special judge to handle it, and they may even get a special prosecutor. I don't know. When I was prosecutor, I did a prosecution of a case that a guy threatened to blow up Cass County Courthouse. And the prosecutor's disqualified and the judge is disqualified. I was prosecutor at the time. And I prosecuted it. All right, so I guess I will just wait a minute. I wasn't sure what, as I said, the guy was. Here's our walk-in.
No, this is, yeah, Christine is not feeling well. She wants to move that if we can.
Yeah, that's fine. Which defendant is it? Oh. I don't have it with me. It's in the green
Okay.
folder on my desk. Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
fine.
Appreciate it.
Also, I met some nice people at the wedding. I told one of the guys I'd say hello to his dad, Mike, this morning. Good morning to Mike from Way Pigeon. Thank you for watching every day. Your son does a nice job at Useless Creatures. I'm just letting this go because I didn't want to shut it off and start all over again. As soon as we finish whatever our walk-in is, take a break. We'll go out until 10 o'clock. And then apparently one of our sentences is being adjourned because one of the attorneys doesn't feel well. So it is a slow start to a Monday morning. It was a good day for a bike ride. I could see my breath. But then we'll have a landlord-tenant docket, small claims this afternoon. They flashed the paperwork in front of me, and I saw the name for about a second, but I can't remember it, so I don't know who it is we're seeing. This has been an unusually long stretch of blue sky for Michigan. All of Fair Week, all of this week, it's supposed to be sunny and blue sky and 80 and very nice. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
What's your name?
James Cannon.
All right, Mr. Cannon, I'll have the paperwork in a minute. Yeah, we had our boats in. It felt like 4th of July. My granddaughters were swimming in the middle of the lake like it was warm out. It was quite refreshing. All right. I guess I'll stop this. Thank you all for saying good morning. I've let it run for quite a while. And we do have a customer. Hope you're well where we are. Boats are coming out this week. And we will then start to get ready for fall. Michigan and Michigan State both had buys this week. All right. I can't get in the file because the clerks are in it. So Mr. Cannon will do it in a minute. Two 51943 SM. At least all the electronics worked this morning. Every time I come in here, about 3 days out of 5, there's some sort of a technical glitch. Mr. Cannon, would you come up to the podium, please? Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
This is file number 251943SM. Are you James Cannon?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cannon, they've alleged in this formal complaint, count 1, child abuse in the 4th degree, did cause physical harm to a child by slapping the child in the leg. Contrary to the statute, that's a misdemeanor punishable by up to a year in jail, probation for up to 5 years. Count 2 is domestic assault upon a minor child, LH, a resident of your household. That is a misdemeanor also punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. With us here this morning is the Public Defender, Jeanette Jackson. My recommendation, Mr. Cannon, is that we get you a attorney to assist you with this. Do you have any objection to that?
No, sir.
What do you do, sir? What's your occupation?
I'm currently unemployed. I'm in the process of getting employed with Fairview here in town.
What other kind of work have you done?
Landscaping and manufacturing.
Is there a no contact provision in here?
Yes, with Leah.
Where are you staying?
I'm currently staying in my mother's yard in a tent.
Well, it's about to get real cold. Well, I'm gonna show a plea of not guilty. I'm going to appoint an attorney. I'm going to set an attorney pretrial, and unfortunately, this is going to be out of ways. The next first Friday of the month pretrial would be October 3rd, which is Friday, which is too soon for an attorney to get up to speed on this. So I'm going to set the attorney pretrial for November 7th. At 8:30. That's a long ways away when you're sleeping in a tent because you have a no contact order in your file. I'm gonna send you out to the counter and the clerks are gonna give you information with your attorney's name and number on it. I want you to call the attorney and make an appointment to discuss this. The sooner the better.
Okay.
They can get the police report, any other reports, be in a position to discuss this with the prosecutor. If they wish to accelerate the case forward from November 7th, we can accommodate that, but bond here remains as set. No contact remains in effect. Let me go over your bond conditions. Posted a 4,000 10% bond. No firearms, no contact with that minor child. So either they can't be in the house or you can't, and so they're in the house and you're out. So that often is a factor to be considered. Also, it's for good reason. It's to protect the complaining witness, keep the people apart. Make sure that there's not any interference with the legal process. But this has got some consequences. And I think you could use a lawyer. So I still have my paperwork, but I have enough for you to go out and get court-appointed counsel. What's your mailing address? Can we still use the mail address?
Yes, sir.
All right. Then you may provide additional contact info. All right, you go with the court officer. All right, Ms. Jackson, that's all we've got. There are no pretrial. Let me make sure. I didn't see any pretrials this morning. One arraignment, which was a civil infraction. Judge Pattison sure has it easy on Mondays. No, just my 2 civil pretrials. So let me stop the live feed. We'll be back at. All right, we are back. We're going to address several misdemeanor sentences. We had 5 set, and one looks like it's getting adjourned. And so we have 4. Jordan Harden is here with her client, and Angelique Canfield is here for the prosecutors. She stepped out for just a moment. All right, welcome everyone. It's time for our misdemeanor sentences. Our first matter is People versus Robert D. Burns. File number is 251318. This is a domestic violence case. I accepted the defendant's plea, set the matter for sentencing for this morning. Wanted to get more information and victim input. We did get a restitution request. Jordan Harden is here with the defendant, and Angelique Canfield is here on behalf of the prosecution. Ms. Harden, what would you like me to know here?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Burns did serve a good amount of time on this case at the upfront. Since release at the time of plea, he has gotten independent housing with his father, set out away from the complaining witness. They do not have a relationship, and he has no desire to continue such relationship. He is working. He works for Baja, which is a company that essentially sets up and tears down all the fair rides and things of that nature. So he's been busy lately with that. He does understand that there's a restitution request and indicates today he's able to make a payment towards that, but would need a payment plan to finish paying that off. In my notes with Prosecutor Robert, because this plea was taken back on August 1st, we did set it out quite a ways. But Mr. Robert, at that time, my notes indicate had no objection to a time served just due to the amount of time he did up on the upfront. If the court did feel a probation was necessary due to the restitution component, I would ask for a non-reporting probation to ensure that that payment is made towards the restitution. Again, Mr. Burns has complied with all terms of bond. He has made no efforts to contact the complaining witness. He reports to me that she has tried to reach out over multiple social media accounts of his, but he has blocked her on those in an attempt to remain compliant with bond. He also, again, indicates no desire to continue a relationship with her. So I don't think we're going to see Mr. Burns again. He's done everything he's needed to do since he was released, and he's complied with all terms of bond. So I would ask the court to impose time served as well as fines and costs, and if probation is necessary due to the restitution component, that be done on a non-reporting basis. Thank you.
The defendant did spend 27 days in jail. I did a PR bond at the time of although at the time of the plea, he no longer had a right to have a bond, but normally, unless the defendant posts bond within 28 days in a misdemeanor case, they're allowed to have a PR bond. This restitution is actually for the apartment where the defendant was living, or the complainant was living. And there is a work order attached to it. Ms. Canfield, what would you like me to know?
Your Honor, my office will have to stand by the request for restitution and Mr. Robert's offer of credit for time served. I don't have a copy
Any
of the
additional
pre-sentence
input
report.
from the complaining witness?
I don't have a copy of the pre-sentence report, Your Honor.
There isn't one.
Okay.
I simply set it out. I want to get the police report. There's a video which shows him doing at least some of the conduct that resulted in his conviction. I didn't think we had any victim input, but I set it for this. The defendant is probably eligible for a deferral, but I don't think he's interested in it.
Well, we were interested, Your Honor. Mr. Robert said because he has a prior R&O on his record, he would not offer that or agree to
Alright.
that.
Yeah, I can't do a deferral without the prosecutor's consent.
He
and
was very much interested, but Mr. Robert was not willing to agree to that, so.
All right, if I knew that, I forgot it. Let me put a note in here, prosecution opposed. Deferral. All right, so do you travel with this job?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, you're here now. You should be able to pay this.
I believe he did say he can make a payment today.
Yes, if needed to be, I'd be able to make a payment today.
All right, I'm already 27 days credit, 27 days. There's a $75 fine, a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, $100 and $50 attorney fee, restitution of $400. I believe that goes to Gateway Village.
Correct, Your Honor.
That adds up to $775, I think. No, 700. No, 350, 750. How much can you pay today?
Probably like $50,
All right,
but next paycheck I'd be able to do about 400.
all right, today. I'll make this due by December 1.
Yes, sir.
This will show on your record as a domestic violence, prohibit you from using or possessing a firearm for at least 8 years. I don't know if you like to hunt, but you can't in light of this conviction,
Understood.
unless you have your firearm privileges restored. So at this time of year, do all those sort of things head south?
You talking about my
Yeah,
job?
your work?
It's seasonal, so yeah, so I would have to apply for another job, but I know we have two more this month,
All right.
so I will be able to.
I'll ask the court officer to take you out to make that payment. Make sure we got your correct contact information.
Yes, sir.
27 days, credit 27 days,
Thank you.
no victim input. All right, you're good to go, sir.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you. Can I hear yours? You have a card? Sure. Okay.
Jordan, do I have some more with you? I thought I had a couple others. Hey, just this, no, we have Yoder, Darren Yoder, yes. Our 10:45 is Rhonda Ives. She's very hard to schedule. And my belief was she was already here today for something. Jordan, if one of your clients is early, we can start early.
Okay, I'll check the hallway in a moment, but Mr. Burns was the only one here.
Well, it's very nice to have a prosecutor here at these sentences. We've gotten away from it when they were so poorly staffed, but and I'm always maybe a little too optimistic with Ms. Ives' stuff. Because I think we could do it and then she's got to be somewhere else. And do you have a Christopher Houghton out there? Just have a seat, sir. We can't, no, on the bench. We're just checking. You're here on a timely matter. We're waiting for your lawyer.
I've got one other one out there as well. Who's your attorney? Rhonda.
Rhonda Ives, yeah. Have we seen her yet?
I've not seen her yet. The other person is waiting for Tim George and I have not seen him yet.
That'd be Mr. Richards. And they aren't set. This one's set at 10:45, so the defendant's here in a timely manner. This is an odd case, Ms. Camfield. Defendant pled without counsel. Keith Stickley was here at the time. Mr. Stickley requested that counsel be appointed to assist him with the sentence, but the recommendation was 7411 probation. Mr. Houghton, have you met and talked with Rhonda Ives?
Just the emails.
Okay, well, at least you're in communication.
I'm currently in family treatment court now,
In what county?
Cass County. I started last week Wednesday.
Okay. You actually live in Van Buren County, or is Decatur the address that you have in Cass County?
The address that you guys had, I believe, was my home address. But as of Wednesday, I moved into a sober living home.
Oh,
For family treatment court.
and where's that?
That is 208 Center Street, Wajack, Michigan.
Good morning, Mr. George.
Morning,
Is your client ready?
he, I think, was just paying some fines.
Okay.
Judge, do you have the key for the door?
Return promptly, it says.
I'll be right back.
I don't know who wrote that on there, but it wasn't me. I don't get in this little box too much. It's got Bob Sabatini's probation officer card and Alice DeYoung, two of our former very good probation officers, both retired.
Thank you, sir.
Historical artifacts. Tim, you don't miss it. But walnuts are falling all over the street. There's nobody there to pick them up. I'm gonna go out with my leaf blower and blow all the walnuts into his yard.
Howie doesn't do that?
No, well, I think Howie is mowing it, but they just fall so prodigiously. That was Tim's job, is picking up bushels of walnuts. Now he's not there to do it. A squirrel got one of them and broke it open on my front steps, and it made a big black stain that I can't get off. Tried brake cleaner and some other stuff. Simple green. I didn't discover the secret. I'm gonna have to power wash it in the spring, I guess.
Three kittens in our yard this weekend.
I think they'd love a kitten. I think you just drove over and drop one off.
Reach out to Lucas and see if,
Oh,
they're about to have a baby, kittens probably not that.
they asked him if he wanted barn cats and he said no.
I got three ready to
So,
go.
no, the answer was no. All right, good morning, Ms. Ives.
Good morning, sir.
Your client's right here. And he filled me
We
in
were
a little.
looking for him. We weren't sure where he was.
Oh, I dragged him in here. He was out in the hall and I asked the officer to bring him in. Sounds like he's doing pretty good. Let's address the matter of People versus Christopher James Houghton. Just a moment. Who is this? Good morning. This is Judge Middleton.
You could have a seat next to me.
This is Judge Middleton. I'm on the bench, and whoever called you, they didn't call you from this number. So, all right, good luck to you. Wrong number. This is file number 251099 SM, People versus Christopher James Houghton. Mr. Houghton was charged with possession of a controlled substance for psilocybin mushrooms, which we see some. I was in college. Some guy was growing them in his room in pickle jars. But they are a controlled substance under Schedule 5. It's a 2-year high court misdemeanor to possess them. Mr. Houghton pled guilty without counsel at his arraignment. And Mr. Stickley, the chief public defender, recommended that a counsel be appointed to assist with the sentence. Does appear to me that he would be eligible for 7411 probation unless I'm missing something. He has quite a bit of unpaid fines and costs here in St. Joe County. And he advised me he's already on probation in Cass County, and I didn't really want to double up. Ms. Ives, he indicated that he's been in contact with you via email, that he's present in a sober living house in Tawajak, and he's in family treatment court. Sounds like he's doing a lot better. What would you like me to know?
Well, Your Honor, what I was surprised to see is the representative from, it's a Cass County at Sober Living appeared here in court on his behalf, caught me in the hallway, wanted to kind of give me an update. She was just kind of briefing me when we were trying to find Mr. Houghton and then realized he was in here when we walked in. But it sounds like he's doing everything he's supposed to be doing. Now, I'm not sure what put him in
Well,
Sober Living there.
one concern is, do you really want to be on 2 probations? If you do this probation, you would have a chance to have this charge taken off your record, use of a Schedule 5 controlled substance. But it might just put an awful lot of obligation on you. I could try to fashion the probation where you can do most of it over in Cass. But that's a question. You spent a day in jail. I have $200 of bond. And as she indicated, you're doing all the things that you should be doing. You've got a lot of unpaid tickets, and you got a domestic violence. You got some other things where you owe money here. That frankly, I was just gonna put as part of your probation that you pay all your existing fines and costs. Ms. Campfield, do you have any thoughts on this?
I do, Your Honor. Well, the first is, and I'm sure that he's already aware of it, but just to let Mr. Houghton know with his counsel present that this could have been charged as a felony. Possession of psilocybin or that type of a substance is actually a felony offense. So it's good that it was a misdemeanor here, that he's allowed to do 7411. It sounds like he's taking the appropriate steps to live a sober life. My suggestion would be that we place him on the 7411 probation and request that Cass allow a transfer for supervision purposes only. If he's doing all the things through their program that he ought to be doing for this one, such as testing when required and the sober living home, that perhaps it be fashioned if he leaves that home AWOL without completing the program or test positive, that would be a violation here as well.
I think what I'll do is make
Along
it a
those
condition
lines.
of his probation that he comply. I'm gonna waive his probation oversight fees here. And make it a condition of a probation that he comply with the probation. Which court are you through? Circuit court? Or is it abuse? Is it a probate court matter?
The family treatment court was a voluntary thing that I volunteered for.
But do you have a conviction of something?
I don't have a conviction over there.
All right, so you're not on probation, you're just in the program.
I'm in the program, yeah.
Is that correct, Mandy?
That is correct. I think you go in front, which judge do you go in front of, Cass, is it Herman?
I believe that's who it was.
Charles Herman or
Yeah.
Carol Beeler?
Carol Bueller is who I'm
All
seeing,
right.
yes,
Okay,
Carol Bueller.
And he is subject to drug testing at least 3 times a week and also, right.
and it's all voluntary.
Yes, I volunteered for this.
Good for you. All right, this seems appropriate. I'm gonna do a 7411 probation for 1 year. 12 months, meaning you can get done in 6 months. I'm gonna order 11 days in jail credit. 1 of the 11 days, 10 are deferred. You did 1 day. I'm gonna hold some days over your head. You had a small amount of psilocybin mushrooms, but you're also driving a vehicle at the time, which is always scary to think that people will be operating a vehicle after using hallucinogenics. The fine is 0. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, $150 attorney fee. I'm gonna waive the oversight fee because I'm gonna have you to comply with all Cass County Family Treatment Court directives. What are you struggling with? It's not psilocybin mushrooms. Is it methamphetamine or alcohol or?
It was methamphetamine, yes.
All right.
I have a son that is in, his mom doesn't have custody of him either, and when I was given the chance to step up as a father, they asked me if I wanted to do family treatment court, so that's why I volunteered for it.
At some point, do you get to get out and get a job?
Up to their recommendation, yes. Hopefully soon, but
All right, well, you're already ahead of the game. As I said, you owe me a bunch of unpaid stuff. And often guys that are struggling with math, it's not on their radar to pay their fines and costs. So it's a condition of your probation that you pay outstanding St. Joe County fines and costs.
Your Honor, may I ask the court to request a release from the Family Court Treatment Program service providers so that we can ensure
Yes,
the
that's
7411 is complied with?
provide release
Thank you.
to our court. All right, Mr. Holden, you're on the right path. We've seen a lot of people lately on the wrong path. But this ultimately, your goal would be to get custody of your son?
yes.
All right, that's a worthwhile goal. All right, Ms. Ives, thank you. You came, you got appointed late to the game in this case, but your client seems to be doing what he needs to do. Mr. Houghton, I'm going to ask you to take this form downstairs to the probation department. We'll try to coordinate with Cass County's Family Treatment Court. Mandy, are you connected to that?
I am, well, I'm not specifically in treatment court, but I do work for the insurance and drug court over there as well as here.
All right, that's helpful.
Which I can help you updates from Preston, what, needed to, so.
Well, you could be a good resource. All right, Mr. Houghton, I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. All right, now it's time for our next matters. What's your name, sir? What's your name?
Darren Yoder.
All right, let's take up Mr. Yoder's case. Why don't you have a seat right with your lawyer there, Mr.
Yes,
Yoder?
ma'am.
I did arraignments for Judge Pattison this morning. He had one. Then we had a walk-in. We had another one that I missed because I didn't know I had him.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I
No,
don't
it's-
have
no,
eardrums,
it's
so I
not.
can't hear very.
Oh,
very
yeah, you
well.
told me that. Let's try the system here. Those little, Michelle's an expert at these.
Doesn't have an earpiece with it.
Yeah, there's some headphones there.
How are you this morning?
I'm good, thank you.
There's the volume adjustment.
better.
Mr. Yoder, does that help?
Yeah, that works.
All right, very good. All right, when they upgraded our system, they gave us these, and we do sometimes tend to overlook them, but they can be very helpful. This is file number 251128, People versus Darren Randall Yoder. Mr. Yoder is here with his lawyer, Jordan Harden, and Daniel Friesine is here. He drew this assignment. Also present is Angelique Camfield. Mr. Yoder's got quite a bit of baggage here on his record, and this is,
The load of baggage, Your Honor,
yes, sir.
is all on my brother. He used my name. If you look up his name, you'll see that mine is AKA Darren Randall Yoder. So I have not committed any crimes. I'm not that kind of a person, Your Honor.
All right, well. All right.
I was literally, I mean, I'm not discounting the fact that I did have alcohol in my system.
But the person that went to prison back in the past was not you?
No, that was my brother.
He went to prison using your name?
Correct.
Stranger things have happened. Your driver's license.
And I haven't had my driver's license since I was 18.
Well, you have an ID and your picture is on it. So,
He's probably got some kind of a copy of it, maybe,
well, it certainly looks like you in the picture.
but he looks almost identical to me. If this is not even an excuse, he looks almost identical to me. He knows my social security number because he stole my social security
So he
card.
went to prison?
Yeah. His name is Timothy William Lewis Yoder.
Well, these are done by fingerprints.
I have not been arrested for anything.
All right. Well, you were arrested for this.
Oh, obviously for this, yes.
Um,
I mean, we wouldn't be here otherwise.
No.
No, look up Timothy William Lewis Yoder, and you'll see that Darren Randall Yoder is his first AKA, and then you'll see that Timothy Brian Grandstaff is his second AKA. No, sir, I do not do anything to get in trouble. I made the wrong decision to move the
all right,
car.
okay, all right, don't tell me.
Oh,
anymore.
my apologies, my apologies, my apologies.
Well, he raised this when he spoke with you.
What was that?
Well, when you talked to the probation officer, you told him this.
Yes.
He must be awfully identical to you because the driving permit, the guy looks like you.
Yes, my brother looks almost exactly like me.
All right, we'll have to sort this out by fingerprints. The recommendation, Mr. Yoder, is for 45 days in jail. You're the drunkest defendant I've had in 2025. You have the highest blood alcohol level of anybody I've seen this year, and it's almost October. You're very, very intoxicated. You have very little insight into the level of addiction that you're struggling with. And part of his reason for the recommendation was your extensive criminal history. But your contention is that it isn't you.
No, that's not me, though. I know that I made the wrong decision to maneuver a vehicle number one, without having a license, even though that's put to the side. But intoxicated, understandably so, but it's not like I was trying to go from here to Ohio. I was literally moving the vehicle 2 parking spaces over. I admittedly
All right,
say,
stop.
my apologies.
All right. I don't know that he ever got printed here. It's one of my pet peeves with the sheriff's department is they often don't print people that they get in the jail. They have a different view of this. I don't work in there, but they don't print the people. Sometimes when they release them, we don't even know who they are. I can't tell. There is a fingerprint order in here. Directed. And so I believe the prints were taken here at the courthouse. Says you have a scar on your abdomen and a tattoo on your left arm
Correct,
and your left forearm.
correct.
All right, that's you?
Yes, I've got, a scar right here, from having rotator cuff surgery.
All right.
My abdomen, I was cut in half when I was a baby. I was one of the first, in Michigan to have, pyloric stenosis surgery.
All right. Ms. Canfield, do you have a thought on this?
Your
Pardon?
Honor, it's
I'm asking the prosecutor.
Oh.
very unusual when I'm looking at the Michigan Department of Corrections Otis site for Timothy Williams Lewis Yoder. It does have approximately 6 or 7 aliases, one of them being his brother's name. And it appears that this individual that served a sentence for methamphetamine has similar features to Mr. Yoder, but he has a little bit more hair than his brother because he's about 3 years younger. But it does appear that there's a multitude of tattoos listed here. Now, the interesting thing is when I searched the defendant's name and age, there wasn't a record that came up. And I searched for all status as opposed to active status. So I would think that if some of these felonies were on his record, I would have at least seen something. But one would think if they're charged with criminal sexual conduct in the first degree, that there would either be a record of it under Timothy's name, which there is not, or I would have an old Otis, but I don't know how long they keep those records in Otis. So that's the
Well,
problem.
they
that I
do
have with it.
DNA for those.
Correct. They would show the same male, the YSTR DNA from the same family line, but they would have different and unique. They should have different DNA because they're not identical twins. So,
Well, all right,
but one would think it would have been addressed over the multiple years and years and years that his brother was catching felonies purportedly under his name.
let's talk about let's talk about the criminal record. Most of it is not very relevant to this. It's old. And it, it's very old. There's no driving intoxicated. There's some old driving suspendeds on here. But let's assume that none of these are him. There was a DWLS August 1st of 2025 that was dismissed. I think perhaps as a part of this plea agreement.
That's correct.
So let's set the criminal history aside. The court will not consider any of the criminal history in the report. A, because it's old, and B, because there's a question about whether it's him. So let's proceed just on the facts of the case. With that in mind, Ms. Harden, what would you like me to know?
Thank you, Your Honor. As the court has indicated, this is Mr. Yoder's first drunk driving conviction and his first criminal charge in a couple of years. Mr. Frazine's recommendation indicated that he did not believe Mr. Yoder was a good candidate for probation. However, it's my understanding there's been no issue while on bond. He's gotten rides to court. He's appeared at court. He's been in communication with me. I think that he's someone that's worthy of affording the opportunity for probation too. Get him in some services. You know, him saying Mr. Frazine believes he doesn't have a problem. That might be the kind of person that probation could actually help if we get him engaged in some court-ordered services such as counseling, substance abuse treatment, things of that nature. He does have his fiance here who's a support system for him. I would ask the court to consider a probation and defer any requested jail time as this is his first conviction. Thank you.
Ms. Campfield, what's your thought?
Setting aside the history, as the courts indicated we will do for now, giving the defendant the benefit of the doubt that these may be his brother's convictions. He had an extremely high blood alcohol content. He indicated that he drove to pick up his girlfriend from work. So he did drive there. He was sipping on beer in the car as he waited for her to get out from work. And it wasn't just driving a couple spots down to change the parking location. He actually admitted that he drove there to pick her up. When you're at a 0.3 or above, you're a significant alcoholic. If you're functional at that level, as the court's well aware from handling sobriety court, it's a little frightening to think that he's on the road at that level. And as Mr. Frazine indicated, functional, most of us would be passed out or hospitalized from alcohol poisoning. So he's been drinking for a very long time, and he does have an alcohol abuse diagnosis, although I'm not a physician. That seems under the situation to be an appropriate thing. I would think that to have a substance abuse assessment done, we'd probably find some interesting facts in that regard, other than what he's just told Mr. Frazine. He's engaged in treatment before. Obviously, he still thinks that he can drink, which is not accurate. And he continues to violate the law in doing so. I see Mr. Frazine's point in getting a lot of different versions of events from the defendant throughout the course of his interview. If you don't recognize that you have an alcohol addiction, it's very difficult to rehabilitate from that. So it seems under those circumstances, the jail is appropriate. But I also see his counsel's point in that maybe he needs the services so that he can recognize he has an addiction and give him an opportunity to establish sobriety, not only from methamphetamine as he has in the past, but from alcohol now, because it seems one replaced the other. If there is a term of probation, I would think that 2 years would be adequate in consideration of the sobriety court program, but he has to be willing to engage. If not, perhaps regular probation is more appropriate if he can't handle the intensity of the sobriety court. But I do think some jail is more than appropriate given the alcohol level in his system at the time of driving.
Mr. Yoder, your preliminary breath test at the scene was a .388.
Correct, sir.
And on beer, that is just astounding.
Well,
Stop for a minute.
yes, sir.
And then they have to take you to the hospital if your blood alcohol is .32 or above.
Correct.
And so they took you to the hospital and they got a blood draw and the blood result came back at 351.
Mhm.
Now, there may be some argument that you were drinking after you parked the vehicle, but you weren't legal to drive, A, because you didn't have a license, and B, because you had a blood alcohol about 5 times the legal limit. And you did drive there. You didn't drop out of outer space. You did drive it in the parking lot. And so here we are, and you've accepted responsibility. As Ms. Camfield said, your memory is not complete. And so you give slightly different versions of things, but nobody thinks that you're lying about anything. They just think that you have a hard time reporting accurately.
My memory has been shot for a long time,
Yeah.
sir.
All right, I'm gonna let you go last, but let's hear from Mr. Frazine.
Well, when I was speaking to him, and he did tell me about his brother's situation, he did eventually admit to the juvenile crimes and failing to register. If that was his brother, as indeed he's trying to purport here today, then he wouldn't have admitted to failure to register. So I don't think it's purposeful. I just think with this kind of alcohol consumption, your brain becomes a little bit less good with the facts. And I think this is what's happening. So even if we didn't take everything here and we did attribute to some of his brothers, he at least admitted to this. So that's why I kind of took everything else with a grain of salt. Also, when he tells me that he tried a duels, but it was too damn expensive. It's like $8 a 6-pack. And now I just sip on beer all day because it's cheaper than water. I mean, that's a hard thing to overcome. And when I spoke to him about probation, I explained to it in detail how that works. And he was leaning with, well, I just kind of rather get this over with. No job. He somewhat does DoorDash. My feeling is he's probably doing that just enough to supply himself with the alcohol because he's got it so
Well,
bad.
obviously he can't do DoorDash because he can't drive.
Right. He says his girlfriend's doing so. And that's why I said to him, I said, so really your girlfriend's doing the door dashing.
Correct.
So
Correct.
again, so how is he going to pay for testing? How is he going to get anywhere? How is he going to do this stuff? My take was we'd just be setting him up for more failure down the road and exasperating the things. And my best hope with all this was that he'd do enough time where he'd say, well, this really stinks. I don't want to do that anymore.
Well, and some of these are these last few recent driving without a license cases, they're not your brother. They're the guy that lives at Whit Lake Road. There's a guy that looked me in the eye.
That would be all of these cases right now, I would believe.
No, they're you.
But normally I would think that a long 2-year probation would be appropriate, given the facts. If they had a license and they were able to do it and participate and even remotely thought they had a issue, but I just think we're setting them up for failure, but I'll leave it to the court's discretion.
I would be willing to participate.
All right. Mr. Yoder, I said I'd give you the last word. What do you want to tell me?
I made a mistake, Your Honor. I was trying to maneuver the vehicle around to go next to our friend who was door dashing. Because there was a person that had parked in her spot that she normally parks in while we hang out. And my fiance is at work. I made the mistake of maneuvering the vehicle. I cannot deny it.
All right. You missed the picture. You drove the car there while you were like super drunk. I'm
I
not so
didn't
worried
drive
about
the
it.
car. No, sir. No, sir. She drove the car there.
All right, so your
She-
contention is
She
you're
works
only,
at Taco Bell. She backed it up into that parking spot. I
All right,
just went
okay.
to maneuver around the vehicle, pardon me, that was next to us. I did not drive that car there. No, sir.
yeah, the only driving here is in the parking lot that they can establish.
Correct. And it was just to go around a vehicle to get next to another vehicle to have communication. It
Well,
was a
you
stupid
dented this other
mistake.
guy's car to the extent of,
Do what?
it said it damaged his car less than $1,000 worth of damage.
I didn't touch anybody's vehicle.
There wasn't a scratch on, I'm sorry, there wasn't a single scratch on my car.
What the report says, and I wasn't there,
Obviously.
was dispatched to a crash. When I arrived, I spoke with the caller. He said he saw the driver, Darren Yoder, drinking alcohol in the parking lot before getting into a vehicle. Darren then hit the bumper of Noah's parked vehicle, leaving minor scratches. He said Darren seemed not all there. All right.
Your Honor, the scratches,
I don't, whatever it was very apparently minor.
yeah,
These cases are you. Darren Randall Yoder, 2022, disturbing the peace. Whit Lake Road address. That's not your brother, that's you.
at Wood Lake Road at 2022. I wasn't even in the state of Michigan in 2022.
3.
Me and my dog were out walking on the East Coast in 2022 to up to 2024.
23. Is operating with no license. That's you. And then that's it. There was a fail to pay a booking fee.
A booking fee probably.
Was the 23 one you?
No, again.
All right, I'm gonna adjourn this. I'm gonna figure out what's what. You're either a terrible reporter of the facts or a huge liar. The picture on your driving record is you. unless your brother's identical to you.
He's almost
Um,
identical, exactly.
Your fingerprints are on file. I've engaged with you before. I have video of me talking to you in the courtroom.
And I have no
Uh,
problem admitting any bit of the truth either.
All right, so the 23 one wasn't you and the 22 one wasn't you?
No, I was not even in the state of Michigan until 2024. Me and my dog, when me and my ex-wife split up,
Well, will your dog testify on your behalf?
I guarantee he will. He's in the car right now.
All right, well, that's good. for you. Put on.
No, him and I, we walked around the entire East Coast for 2 years until it was Father's Day of 20. Shit.
All right,
20,
just stop. I'm not even sure how to approach this.
I'm not a liar though, Your Honor.
Where is Timothy Yoder now?
I honestly don't know. I have no communication with him.
Well, did he live in the Whit Lake Road house?
He probably used the address, I would imagine. Because he is partial owner. Him and I are both 12% or 12.5% owner of the property.
And you actually live there now?
Not currently. We just moved all my stuff from there, and I moved down to LaGrange with my fiance.
I don't even know how to do a forensic. When I was a young prosecutor, you weren't born yet. In order to prove someone was a habitual criminal, you had to prove they were the same person. So I tried a criminal sexual conduct charge against a man where the conduct occurred here in Centerville. And he allegedly and you had to prove the prior to the jurors. So first you finished the trial, and then you had to prove that it was the same guy that was a habitual offender. So I got his fingerprint records from Ohio and had someone who had been his probation officer, somebody in Ohio, and an FBI agent in the courtroom, took the defendant in the back, took his fingerprints, compared the fingerprints to the fingerprints in the Ohio record, and said he was the same guy. And the jurors convicted him of being a habitual offender also. That is like nearly impossible in this day and age. This was in the 80s. Well, that's what needs to happen, is somebody needs to look at the fingerprints and see whether it's the same person. And your old probation and parole agent, they would have knowledge of this. And I believe the person on the driving record is you, and I believe the guy I talked to in the courtroom in 2022 and 23 is you.
The only time that I've had any issue with any law enforcement was like 2018, something like that. Rick.
Well, how did your driver's license get suspended if you never?
Well, I was 18, honestly. I was 18. I was
right.
driving home from work.
I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole here. I'm gonna get the videos of our earlier proceedings. which include two oh nine SM and 23988 ST. And 152761. If I can. Jordan, when are you here next? You know?
I think the 13th of October.
All right, let's see what we got there.
I have several set though. I think I got 4.
The only thing that I've actually been convicted of that I actually did aside from this was the felony conviction for selling my medicine. And that was trying to get my kids Halloween costumes.
Where was that?
That was in Sturgis.
All right.
I mean, I
But
honestly.
you told Mr. Frazine you got convicted of failing to report under the Sex Offender Act.
I've been Romeo and Julieted out of that a long time ago.
But were you on the sex offender registration list for a number of
For
years?
14 years I was, yes.
For something you didn't do?
Yes, I was 16. I had sex with my girlfriend who was 15 and her parents reported me as a rapist.
Well, that's what's in the report.
So, but I was.
Stop.
I was absolved, though.
Stop.
Yes,
You
sir.
are
Yes, sir.
sending me down the rabbit hole. I'm gonna confirm that these are you, and if I do, bring your toothbrush, because you're going to jail. But we'll revisit this on October 13th at 10:30 a.m. I will get the videos. You just acknowledged that this underlying sex offense was you.
Yes.
Which you previously denied. You acknowledged that the failure to register as a sex offender was you, which you previously denied. And then you denied everything else.
Correct, sir.
All right, well, we'll figure it out. I'll see you on October 13th at 10:30. And I'll get the videos of those earlier proceedings.
October 13th at 10:30, is that?
Yep.
Yes.
Can you go to the counter and get a notice
Yes.
while he's here? Okay. If you go to the district court office, they can give you a notice before you leave today.
If you take him out, we'll get a notice for him.
Thank you.
We'll figure it out. All right, I'm sorry, Tim. So we kind of,
You have a wonderful day.
all right, I'll see you in October. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Are we up next, Judge?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, my bad.
At the magistrate's, I'm not giving lunch today.
I could not conceive that someone could go into the Department of Corrections. Mr. Richards, would you come up and have a seat and be on the Registration Act for years when it isn't the right person? The tattoos match, I bet the fingerprints match. And I don't know if he knows what the truth is. We had one other sentence in here that has been moved because one of the attorneys wasn't feeling well, so that leaves us with Joseph Tanner Richards.
Was
Good
that
morning.
Mr. Miller, Your Honor?
Yes.
Or
Chris-
Ms. Miller, sorry.
yeah, they're
Oh, it
gonna
is a
move
Mr.
it.
Miller.
It's an interesting case. This is file number 25951SD. Mr. Richards is here with his lawyer, Mr. Timothy George. Also present is Autumn Kiefer from the probation department, who prepared the screening report, and Angelique Camfield from the prosecutor's office. This defendant got 2 drinking drivings in real short consequence. And this matter was reduced to a charge of impaired driving. Mr. George, what would you like me to know?
Thank you, Your Honor. I know that this is kind of the second time around with Mr. Richards. We were here, I believe it was the day after Labor Day. And we addressed the first case. And so I don't want to reiterate everything, but I think at the core of it is Mr. Richards understands how serious both of these situations were. And we've had this conversation where I think just the lifestyle that he was living at the time, maybe he didn't realize it, but it was obviously putting himself at risk, putting others at risk. And, specifically, the first case was a really scary situation. And then got the second one while he was on bond for the first one. So I know since he's been in here the last time, he obviously did the sentence in jail that the court imposed after that. And he reports that he did do the assessment at Pivotal. I was speaking with Ms. Kiefer about that. I don't know that a release was signed because that hasn't been transferred over to the probation department yet, but he does report that he also has another Pivotal appointment set for October 2nd. So I do believe, even though he is a young man, that how he came before the court has had him grow up a little bit here, and he understands that he needs to get a handle on this because it's something he's going to be dealing with every day. And I think that the tools that the sobriety court can offer would be a benefit to him. The information that can be gleaned from others in sobriety court. I think those experiences are ones that he could benefit from as well. So, Your Honor, we would respectfully ask, even though we're still awaiting that report, that he be considered as a sobriety court candidate. Thank you.
Ms. Kiefer, I'll hear from you first, and then we'll hear from Ms. Canfield. You spent a lot of time on this particular case, and we've discussed it. We are concerned about how young you are and whether you're ready and mature enough to do a sobriety court treatment program and ready to accept the fact that you can't drink. The other factor is this is your only way to get your driver's license for the next 5 years. Autumn, what's your thought here?
Well, we were here on the 2nd of September. Mr. Richards was sentenced in the other case. He did serve 3 days according to the jail roster. Worst we can do is fail. I have emailed Pivotal to see if I can get that assessment. If Mr. Richards failed to sign a release, if his appointment is on the 2nd, then he can sign that when he goes in. If he goes into sobriety court, I'll have it signed this afternoon and send that to them.
We have 2 other guys in the program right now who kind of fit your profile. They're young, single men with a party lifestyle and a couple of drunk driving arrests in short order. We have another guy who was 24 now, who graduated the program, and he has done an outstanding job. Do you want to do sobriety court?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Camfield, what's your thought?
Your Honor, I understand Ms. Kiefer's concerns about whether or not he'd be willing or able to complete the program, given the fact that he doesn't seem to, at least when she spoke with him, understand completely that it doesn't mean drinking less or just drinking at home. It means no drinking. And you have to be ready for that because you're developing or already have a dependency on alcohol. And that's the concern with young people, men and women, who think that it's okay because it's fun and they can be around it and they think that they can consume a smaller amount or just not drive, and that's simply not the case. Under the circumstances, because he's here and he is willing to do the program, I think that is a step in the correct direction. So with hesitancy, I'm going to agree with the recommendation for the sobriety court. See if we can get some services underway with some of the other people in the program. I think their support and experiences may be able to get through to him to a larger degree when you're dealing with others who have the same alcohol dependency and convictions. Perhaps that wisdom can be imparted to Mr. Richards and he can benefit from that. The problem with just doing a straight jail sentence, I see, which normally under circumstances with two so close together, I would recommend, is that it doesn't give him any opportunity to rehabilitate or have treatment, which he desperately needs. So I will agree with the recommendation and ask that the court impose it with sobriety court.
One of the concerns we had is that you were on bond on the other one when you did this one, so we didn't even slow you down a bit. So we're gonna try to slow you down. And Autumn says the worst we can do is fail. If we're successful, you'll be better, we'll be better, everybody will be better. If we aren't successful, we can put you in jail. Which we could do now. Your attitude is good. We've got a couple guys in there, as I said, who are kind of the same profile, and Miss Canfield kind of touched on that. Maybe you can benefit from being around other people in your circumstance who are trying to turn it around. We just had a guy graduate. He did an outstanding job, excellent job. His son, who's about your age, got arrested for drunk driving while dad was in sobriety court. And his son called the dad and said, "Come get me. I just ran on into a cornfield." And he said, "Son, I can't help you." Sure, that was very hard for him. Now the son's taking his lumps. The gentleman you just saw was 44 years old and his blood alcohol was 0.388. You don't want to be that guy. Or you don't want to be the guy that we read about who died. We have 2 fatal accident cases set for felony tomorrow. So let's give it a try. I'm gonna order 24-month probation. We just did some jail. I think she was gonna defer all of this.
I wasn't originally, Your Honor, but now I will, since that they were sentenced separately. He's done 3 days. So
Yes.
he can have his credit.
I'm gonna order 30 days jail, credit 1, leaving 29 days deferred. There's actually 93 hanging over your head, but we're gonna do this expensive proposition. I'm gonna waive the fine because I just gave you one in the other case. $75 crime victims' rights fee, $50 state minimum fee. I'll make the screening fee 0 because she just did the other one. Attorney fee is $150 and the probation is $960. And they didn't, was there a police reimbursement, Miss Canfield?
I did not see.
We couldn't
one
find one
submitted.
either, but sometimes you guys have it and we didn't.
Let me just exit out of that screen. It doesn't look like one was requested at this point, Your Honor. It was a prompt.
All right. No drugs and no alcohol, test as directed. Substance abuse counseling and treatment and sobriety court, and you're to sign a release. Our next session is next Tuesday, October 7th. You'll be there live in person. Where are you working right now?
Northrop Construction.
Oh, yes, we got several guys that are working construction. And it's problematic. And that you might be at a job site out in Decatur somewhere, putting a roof on a house, and you gotta go to sobriety court. Well, a lot of those guys have been zooming in from their car. But there's places to be. You gotta do your testing at the day reporting center. You gotta do your treatment. You gotta go to support group, AA or Celebrate or other program. You gotta meet with me every 2 weeks. Eventually, we may be able to get you an interlock so you can drive your car. Do you have a car?
Yeah,
What is it?
it's a Cadillac.
All right. Pink Cadillac,
No, it's red.
coffee colored Cadillac. All right. Your attitude, I can't ask for anything better, but I want you to go downstairs with Autumn. We'll get you plugged in. There's a lot to do and it's overwhelming at the start. What the guys often say is stick it out and you'll get it. You'll start to get it and it gets easier. All right. I didn't order any additional jail, which is somewhat unusual in this kind of circumstance. All right, you go downstairs with the probation officer and she'll get you plugged in.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Angelique, it's very helpful to have you as our sobriety court prosecutor.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Well, it is. We haven't had it in so long. We haven't had it since Mr. George was there. So you'll see him on the way in and then as we get into the program, and I just want you to know I appreciate it. All right, we'll be in recess and we'll come back.